What's up, guys? It's Sunday morning right now, and to do something a little bit different, I thought I would take the day today to take you through and give you a bit of a more personalized view of my finances and what I'm going to be doing this year in 2025 to reach my financial goals. Because I've always thought of this channel as a place where we can come together and share our financial journeys in a casual and relaxed way without using complicated jargon and corporate language. It's more like we're just two friends sitting over a coffee and having a chat about our finances and the things we are doing in life to better ourselves financially and to share our wins and our losses to help each other to get there. Because if I win, then you can win, and if I make mistakes, then you have a better chance of not repeating those mistakes. So I thought today I could take you through my entire financial setup and share with you as much as I can about what my monthly income and expenses are looking like, just without any confidential figures. And more importantly, what I am looking at for 2025 in terms of my debt, my savings, and my investments. And basically, as a friend, you know that my goal is to reach financial freedom and a form of early retirement. So I'm just going to take you through what this year looks like and the exact things I'm going to be doing to get myself closer to it. I also have a big life event coming up this year that will affect all of that, and I'll tell you about that later. Okay, now you know from the last video that I'm going to be leaning heavily on our budget template tool this year to try and reach my milestones. So I'll be using that a lot in the video. And again, if you want your own copy, it's available in the Casual Cash store in the description link. But we'll chat about that later. So first up, I want to take you through some basics of my income and my bills this year. But honestly, there's not too much to this section because my salary and rent are confidential with the other parties, and in some ways it doesn't help too much because everyone's situation in terms of salaries or wages and monthly bills will be different and so unique to how you live your life. For example, you might have kids, which I don't, or you might work out at home and I go to the gym. There are so many variables in this section, and I think the best way to figure out how to make this section as geared towards your goals as you can is to use a tracking tool of sorts. It could be this template or your own version, but something to get an overview of what's coming in and going out and whether it aligns with your goals. But to give you a bit of info on my own, so my main source of income, probably like most of us, is a salary. Now, I work in the property and investment sector and I get a mostly fixed salary every month and maybe a bonus each year depending on how the business goes. And that's pretty much it for my main income, but we'll get to the side hustle and passive income in just a bit. Then next up is bills. Like we said, this will be so unique to the individual, but I'll give you some examples of some of the monthly bills just to get an idea. Now, currently my family is living and working in the UK, so I'll switch between pounds and rands to see both sides. But just remember as we go through this video that as I talk about different financial aspects, it's not about currencies or platforms or providers. It's about taking your own situation and financial journey and using the tools or knowledge that we've got to better that situation to the best of our ability and the pursuit to reach the financial goals that we have. And each set of goals will look different based on what you want, but often I'll find that the journey and the steps taken are typically very much the same. So these are some of the expenses as an example. The budget template is available in all major currencies or no currencies. So here we're talking about rent, utilities, phone, internet, all the basics, and some insurance, gym, and streaming pretty much. Those are the basic month-to-month amounts. I then also track my general daily expenses, so this can be anything like groceries, fuel, eating out, entertainment, stuff like that. I'm going to be spending a lot of time on this section this year because I think I can make the most difference here. Usually basic income and bills are mostly fixed, not entirely, but if you're comfortable with what you have here, not much will change. But by monitoring how much I'm spending and where, I think I can make a huge savings this year just by doing that. Just that mindset shift of seeing where everything is going in graphs and charts and categories, I think makes you think differently about spending. And it also means you can pick up transactions you never would have before. And I've already done that and saved a lot on stuff that I was unaware of. So if I can get this section right, it will help me so much with the next sections. So let's touch on my other income and then debt. and we'll spend a bit more time on my favorite section, the savings and investments, and I'll take you through the 6 different areas I'll be putting my money in 2025 to get myself closer to my financial goals. So I'm pretty excited about that section. But before we get there, I'll be using this budget template this year to manage my finances, save money, and track what I'm doing each month to reach my financial goals. And if you think by watching this that it could be something helpful to you, you're welcome to check it out in the Casual Cash store. It costs $8, but it's something you can clear and use again year after year, technically for the rest of your life. When I was using it, I found I was paying Amazon Prime twice every month, and it immediately saved me $11 every month. So I'm hoping it'll really save you multiples over the years from that once-off cost. But if you want to download the budget, it's available in the link in the description, and it comes with a video that takes you through how to use it in full detail. Okay, so if you're on this channel, you probably have some form of savings and investment and maybe a side hustle. So like me, you will likely have a couple of these other income lines in your setup. So first is my cash interest. I currently have around £4,580 in cash interest that I hold in my ISA tax-free account on Trading 212, similar to the TFSA on Easy Equities. So all the interest here is entirely tax-free, and it pays 4.9% interest, and I'm making around £19 in cash interest a month. This relates to that big event that I'll tell you about in the savings section. Then all of the next amounts will vary each month, as you can imagine. So dividends will change depending on when each company is paying and how much they increase by each year. I have a regular amount of about £15 from my monthly dividend payers, but overall I make around £65 or 1,500 Rand a month in dividends. Then I make AdSense from these YouTube videos, and again it will vary depending on views and advertiser rates. But last month, as an example, I made 4,100 Rand in AdSense. Then Patreon, which is where we have the Casual Cash Club. Again, this will vary, but last month it brought in about £195. And lastly, sponsors and affiliates, which is where you will see other companies sponsor videos on the channel. This probably changes the most based on who is advertising when and the rates, but December was around 20,000 Rand, and some months it can be zero, which is also fine, so it depends. And all of that I use to run the channel and pay for expenses like editing software, antivirus, my subscriptions to get professional market data, a portfolio tracker, stock video footage, Google storage for all my media, and every now and then new cameras, lights, or laptops to handle it all. And the rest will then go towards my investing journey. Now, there is a lot in each of those items, so I think I'll do a full video on the income and expenses of the channel. So if you want to see that, you can let me know in the comments and I'll put it together. Okay, so that's income and expenses. Now, next up, let's talk about a juicy one, which is debt. Unfortunately, or fortunately, there's not a lot here because currently I don't have any form of debt. The only thing I do have is a credit card from Capital One, which I use in the month and then pay off in full each month to keep a good credit rating. But in the next couple of years, I'll be looking to take on some debt because I have plans to perhaps upgrade my car and at some point buy a house. So those 2 items may be coming into my spreadsheet sometime soon, and I'll show you what I'm going to do to get there a bit later. But for now, a very simple section. And by the way, if you have any questions, put them in the comments and I'll answer them. Also, while we're talking about it, if you could take a moment to like the video, if you enjoy this transparency, and subscribe if you haven't already to follow this journey, and maybe if you want to share it with another friend who might have similar financial goals, that would be cool. Okay, awesome. So now let me take you through the absolute most exciting part for me, which is the savings and investments. And I really do love just talking about this kind of stuff, finance and investing and bettering your financial future. I've been obsessed with it since I was about 14, and I clearly love it to have made 126 videos on it, and a large amount of that was before I made a single cent on the channel. Cool. Okay, so savings. It's so important to have cash savings as a way to cover stuff that happens in life and protect your investments. Each month I put away money into 3 savings locations. I try to keep it simple. The first is the tax-free cash account I mentioned earlier in my Trading 212. This is a slush fund. Any money I have at the beginning or end of the month I put in here, and any life expenses come from here as and if needed. Now, the big life event this year is I'm getting married and having a wedding. So, as I'm sure you can imagine, this account will have a lot of ups and downs this year, amounts coming out and amounts to replenish it, but we've already paid a good portion so far, but there will still be amounts to come and go. But we'll do our best to manage and balance it. Next is a cool one. Earlier I said in the years to come we would look to buy a house, and I have a lifestyle ISA savings account with an app called Moneybox, where I've just started saving for this. Now, the cool thing is that in the UK, the government will top up your contributions by an extra 25%, up to a limit of £4,000 deposited a year. Like, how crazy is that? So you can deposit £4,000 and the government will give you an extra £1,000. But it's the same if you just deposit £100 and you get 25. So currently I've put £110 and received £15.36 in government bonus and interest. So not a lot, but next year after the wedding, I'll be focusing a lot more on this. And you might be thinking, there is so much in the investments, why not use that? But my goal is to keep those and take advantage of compound interest and save for this separately. I don't want to sell them, and over the long term, I think this will be way better in terms of wealth and passive income. So I'm thinking long term here. And last on savings is my new pension account with my employer with a company called Aviva. So £240 goes in here each month, but the cool part is that I only pay £96. So £24 is a tax relief that goes into it, and £120 is coming from the company contribution. So an amazing deposit to return ratio. Currently, I've put in £672 and I've gotten £1,008 in benefits and another £82 in growth. So this is just a passive contribution that comes off each month. Now let's chat about investments, my favorite part. And as long as I'm doing everything on the left of the sheet well, this year I'll get to have a lot more fun on the right-hand side. The more I track and save, the more I can invest and have fun with stocks and shares and dividends. So again, if you think the sheet could help you as well, you can check it out in the link in the description. I have three main investment accounts. The first is Easy Equities, where I have 111,000 Rand with a 26% profit, or 23,000 Rand, not including dividends. This portfolio has had amazing growth and brings amazing average dividends of over 8%. I love what I've invested in and the regular passive income that it brings. But lately I've seen more growth potential in international stocks, and that's where I've been putting most of my investments and will continue to do this next year. I invest in all my international stocks in the tax-free portion of my Trading 212 account. So I sold and rebought the exact same shares and amounts in the tax-free portion in November, so it doesn't show my long-term returns anymore. But just since November, it's grown by 10% for a £500 or 11,000 Rand return in just a couple of months, which is crazy. That's why I don't want to ever sell my shares long term. I'll take my profits from dividends. So my portfolio here is £6,100, and I'll add money here each month and typically reinvest the dividends for now. I'll take out some dividends now and then. But for a breakdown of each stock I hold, you can check out these two videos from December or join the Casual Cash Club for my daily share buys and sells. And the final place I'm putting my money in 2025, which is brand new, is Bitcoin. Not that Bitcoin is brand new, just I've invested in it in the past, but it's something I decided to start investing in recently. So I mentioned on Casual Cash Club last month that I've started to invest in the cryptocurrency as a way to diversify my portfolio and add some risk and possible return over the long term. I'm using Gemini as my platform. I'm not going crazy, and ideally I want to get it to 2 to 5% of my portfolio. I'm fully expecting it might go up or down, but it's just an extra part of my investing that I wanted to add, so I put in £50 and it's up about 2.3% so far. But again, I'll add about £50 a month for now and hold it for the long term. And guys, that is it. that is the basic structure of how I'm managing my finances in 2025 and what I'm going to be doing in each section to track and optimize my financial machine to try and make strides and growth to reaching my financial goals. I hope you enjoyed a bit of a more casual approach on this video and maybe took some info that you could use for your own journey. Again, if you want to use this exact budget template, you can pick it up from the link below. But I appreciate you all on this journey, and I look forward to seeing you once again, as always, on Casual Cash. Cheers.